Hello everybody, and welcome back. It is good to talk to all of you again today. And today we are going to talk about the massive nuclear explosion that has occurred, drama-wise, in the wargaming community. Not so much the World of Warships one, but the World of Tanks one for sure. Although it has sort of spilled over to World of Warships in the last couple of days. Now, for those of you who don't know what's going on, I will quickly catch you up on everything that's happened. Okay, so last Thursday, I think, there was a Wargaming Europe community contributor for World of Tanks who put out a video where in a minute and 46 seconds, he did like an epic rant. I mean, literally of biblical proportions, tearing Wargaming a new one. And of course, Wargaming wasn't all that thrilled that one of their community contributors have done that with that kind of language. So they, of course, wanted him to remove the video. He said no. They threatened a copyright strike. And of course, the minute that happens, shit explodes, and things went crazy. So Jingles got involved. I believe a couple of other larger YouTubers, they got involved as well. And, Wargaming EU realized they probably screwed the whole thing up. They really, really screwed the pooch. So they came back, they talked to Jingles, and they said, no, this is never going to happen. And for those of you who watched Mingles with Jingles, episode 198, I think. Yeah, can't remember the exact number. The one that he released yesterday. The first one, he said everything seemed okay. And then, of course, he posted a second video not too long after that, saying that he had read some statement by Wargaming NA, and Wargaming NA apparently left it open to a possibility that there might be a copyright strike if something went really overboard. And then he raised the whole situation about whether or not, Wargaming NA would strike his content. So apparently he's now quit the Wargaming Europe Community Contributor Program, and so here we go. We've got our drama. And so, I sat here and I thought about this video, whether or not I wanted to make it or not, because in a way, the situation really has become one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of things. And I'll explain what I'm talking about right now. First things first, I do want to address one other thing. There's the video that I put out probably like 2 or 3 days ago, regarding the legality of things. And that's really what it was. It was a video talking about what constitutes fair use, what is fair use, and how does that affect YouTubers. And I mean, I got accused of all sorts of horrible things in that video. People said that I was defending wargaming and their inexcusable actions and all that. No, not my intention at all. It was merely to point out that fair use and all that stuff is a relatively complicated thing. It is not a very simple thing. Very, very complex. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about this, I really would recommend that you go read articles written by lawyers who deal with YouTube and fair use and all that stuff. Of particular note, Morrison Lee, the law firm. They deal with this all the time. In fact, if you want to, listen to Ryan Morrison during an interview, I have a link in the video description below. You should go watch that, where he talks about how things are really not as simple as they appear. Hell, I mean, to put it simply, if it was really that simple, we wouldn't need lawyers at all. So anyways, so that's addressing that. So let's move back to the issue at hand. And it's an issue where the way I described it is it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And there's no good way out of the situation. You say nothing, or you say things that isn't as, angry, isn't as furious as what the people with the pitchforks right now are expecting, then you are automatically labeled as all sorts of negative things. You are a wargaming shill, you are a paid employee, they pay you money, so you shut your mouth. I mean, actually, it's funny because this whole incident, had me reading some of the World of Tanks Reddit stuff, and I see these comments being directed at some of the other World of Tanks guys as well. And it's ridiculous. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? We are just people on the internet who play the same game as you, who make content because we want to share stuff with you guys, and that's it. And the opinions that we have in our videos are our own. It is our own opinion. Wargaming doesn't pay me a goddamn penny for anything. And that is true for the other community contributors as well. I mean, they have to make do with YouTube revenue or Twitch income or donations or whatnot. That's how they're keeping themselves afloat. You know, and if you're unable to do that, then you gotta have yourself another job, which is what I have to do. To make ends meet, to make sure that rent can be paid, to make sure that my bills can be paid. That's the situation that I'm in, along with all the other community contributors. And just because we choose to approach things more diplomatically at times doesn't mean that we aren't bothered by things. Just because I choose to approach this issue potentially a little bit more diplomatically does not mean that I'm not upset about things. I'm just simply approaching it more diplomatically because that often leads to better results. Because you know what? The people on the other side are still people, and nobody likes to hear you pulling out the pitchforks and screaming at them. They want to hear another reasonable voice that they can talk to, and that is how situations actually get resolved. Alright, so now let me go and flip it on the other way, right? Let's say you make a video and you're all super angry, you jump on that bandwagon, you pull out the pitchforks and the torches, and you're pissed off and you get people riled up, right? There's potential negative ramifications there. Not for you, potentially. Maybe the person who does that ends up being the martyr for the cause. You know, gains a ton of views, a ton more popularity. People go, yeah, let's worship this person's martyrdom. Fine. Okay? But potentially you are going ahead and sabotaging a program for other people who've worked really hard. Right? But I mean, right now, Wargaming allows anybody to make videos, right? You don't need to ask them for permission right now. You're free to go ahead and make whatever you want. That's the policy right now. But what if after incidents like this, where there's so much negativity and so much anger, without actually giving time to reason things out, what if Wargaming just says, you know what, we've had enough of this? What if they do that? What if they go, you know what, in the future we're going to protect our intellectual property, we're going to go ahead and pull a Nintendo, and we're just going to, you know, make sure that only certain people are licensed to make videos for us, right? What if they decide to go back to that kind of policy? What then? Isn't that going to be worse because there's less, you know, freedom to produce, less opinions out there? That's even worse. That's a system I don't want to go back to, right? But if you destroy a program that's tried really hard to be good, the replacement might not be what you want. That's something I want to remind people of, because hey, if you look back in Wargaming's history, they weren't always like this, the way they are right now, which is, go ahead, knock yourself out, make stuff. They weren't always like this. You go back to, you know, like 2012 or whatever, they had a vastly different policy back in the day. I don't want to go back to that. But if you force the issue so badly, without giving time for a situation to be resolved peacefully, you potentially could end up like that. And that's really how I see this issue. I see it as somebody having fucked up something, and let's just give it a couple of days, let them get their ducks in a row, and then let them get their statement out, where then we can make a judgment, because that's what I've asked them for. You know, in the back channels where I have direct access to their staff, I've told them directly, look, this is really fucking stupid that this has happened. You guys have to come out and give us a proper statement about what you guys are actually meaning by that thing that you said. You know, what is necessary and appropriate actions? Does that include copyright or not? Like, come out, give us a formal statement, and then the situation will be resolved. And this is a situation that's going to take some time, you know, and I'd rather they take the time and get it right, instead of coming up with another half-baked statement and doing nothing more than creating more shit and creating more drama that is totally and utterly unnecessary. Anyways, so that's pretty much what I'm waiting for right now. I've told them, you know, that I'm expecting some kind of formal statement from them regarding what they meant, and, you know, when that statement comes out, we can judge the situation then. And that's it. that's what I think about this whole situation. It's crap all around. It sucks. It's a really shitty situation, and right now, as of this moment, I think the best thing to do is to wait and just be a little bit patient and see if a statement comes out that clarifies everything. That's it, folks. Take care.